So for that one, you need to know, just like we did for this one, what the amplitude and the period are going to be. Okay? And so if it says y equals -3 cosine theta, then what's the amplitude? The amplitude is never negative. It's 3. And what's the period? 2 pi. Because in this case, b is 1, because there's a 1 in front of the theta, and 2 pi divided by 1 is just plain old 2 pi. So same deal as before. And you're going to notice that these are going to get really easy pretty quickly because it's the exact same thing. What do I make right here for the farthest distance? 2 pi, because I only want one cycle, which means halfway is going to be pi. Okay, so we're basically going by halves here. So this is half a pi, a whole pi, a pi and a half, which the fancy people call 3 pi over 2, and then 2 pi's right there. How far up and down do I need to go? 3, -3. The only trick here is that since this says y equals -3 cosine theta, instead of starting at 3 and going down, I'm going to start at -3 and go up. So I go through there, pass above that, and then like that. Okay? So it's the exact same shape as the other graph, except it's been flipped because of the negative. All right, we good there?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so hopefully now you guys are getting the hang of it. So negative cosine 3t, same questions as before. Amplitude is 1.
Yeah.
Period is, wait for it, 2 pi over 3, because b is 3, and I just go 2 pi over that. 2 pi over 3. And so now I'm ready to draw my graph. Okay, right, so the period is 2 pi over 3, so this farthest distance is going to be 2 pi over 3. Then halfway in between is going to be what? What's half of 2 pi over 3? Pi over 3. Okay, what's in between pi over 3 and 0? Pi over 6. Yo.
How come the amplitude isn't?
Amplitude is never negative. So you just, it doesn't
Why
matter.
did we start at -3 last?
Because it was negative in front of the cosine.
So we're going to start at -1 this time.
So the answer to what is the amplitude of this function you'll never say a negative number. Okay? But right, I'm kind of confused you. But if there is a negative there, that means you have to start your graph at the bottom.
But then she was coming back.
Yeah. So here's what I'm saying.
You just don't give...
Amplitude is how far high and low it goes. Okay, so it doesn't matter for that if I start at -3 and go to +3 or start at 3 and go to -3. It's still the same, right?
Yeah.
This has an amplitude of 3 whether I draw it like that or whether I draw it like that.
Yeah.
Okay? What the negative does, it doesn't tell me it affect the amplitude, it just says whether that I start down at the bottom when I make it.
Didn't you just tell me that we're not going to start at -1?
No, I said the amplitude is never negative.
Okay.
Okay, but you're right. In this one, we will start our graph at -1. Okay? All right, so halfway between pi over 3 and 0 is pi over 6, but then the tough question is what goes right there. And what I'm here to tell you is we're going by 1/6. This is pi over 6. This is 2 pi over 6, which happens to reduce to, right, pi over 3. And this is going to be 3 pi over 6, which reduces to pi over 2. And then the next one would be 4 pi over 6, which reduces to 2 pi over 3. Okay? So whatever this thing is right here, that's what you count by. You just go from there and keep counting. Okay? You've mentioned that at least a couple times now. So I'm pretty sure we know that you don't like it. Okay? Now you want to keep saying that if it makes you feel better? Then you sure can. All right, now as Katie pointed out, since it's negative cosine of 3t, we're going to start down here at the bottom.
I don't like it.
And you should notice something funny about, well, that's a horrible one, but that graph right there and this one that we did over here,
They're like the exact same thing.
they are exactly the same graph. Okay? The only thing that changed was the scale of the x and the y axis. So that and that are the same. This one was a little bit different because it was a positive one and these are negative, but you get the idea, right? Yeah. Hard to tell from my graph, but kind of looks like a shark fin, maybe?
Oh gosh, it's crazy over there.
Okay, so now you get it.
Not unfortunately.
All right, so 14 is just the same as the rest of them. Amplitude is 1. Period is a little bit tricky because that pi over 2 there, but you just have to figure out,
4 pi.
right, 2 pi divided by pi over 2. To divide by a fraction, what do you do with the fraction?
Multiply by the reciprocal.
So it's going to be really 2 pi times 2 over pi. What happens to the pi's?
4.
They cancel, and so my period is 4. Okay? So pretty sure you can graph that on your own. Yeah.
No.
Okay, the next 6 questions ask you to solve each equation. And we're going to do this on your graphing calculators. So did you see that? It's like, and so bust those out for me. And you need to make sure that your graphing calculator is in, you need to make sure your graphing calculator is in radian mode. Okay, you hit the mode button. Mode. You go down until radians is highlighted and you hit enter. Okay? Any time that you are graphing sine, cosine, tangent functions, you must be in radian mode. Okay? Anytime. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to cheat here. It says we want the cosine of 2t to equal 1/2. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the y equals, clear out whatever's in there already, and then I'm going to type in the left side of the equation, which is cosine of 2t, x is fine, same thing. And I'm going to type in the right side of the equation, which is 1/2. Okay? And then if I hit this graph button, then that means that, what am I looking for on the graph? Where are my solutions? Where they intersect.
Yeah.
The problem is the scale of your graph, okay? Now, in the directions it says solve each equation in the interval from 0 to 2 pi. And the reason they say that is because if I do something silly, don't do this right now, but if I go from, let's go from negative 100, whoops, okay, I'll do that way, from 1,000, negative 1,000 to 1,000, and I graph that, okay? How many times will my cosine graph intersect the line y equals 1/2 now? Yeah, a billion, like a couple thousand, okay? How many solutions are there then to this equation? An infinite number, right. So they want you to restrict your domain, your x values, to be between 0 and 2 pi. So hit your window button. For these problems, your x minimum needs to be 0, and your x maximum needs to be 2 pi. So if they wanted you to only find the answers between 0 and pi, then you would change it to be from 0 to pi. Okay? If they wanted answers between negative 2 pi and 2 pi, that's what you would do. Okay, then to do the y scale, you just have to think a little bit about the amplitude of your graph, and this is going to change depending on the problem. In this column right here, what's my amplitude? 1. Okay, because there's a 1 right here, so that means in order to see the whole graph, I went from negative 1.5 to 1.5. You could go from negative 2 to 2, whatever, but that will give you a nice picture of the graph. Okay? On the next one, it says 20 cosine of t. What are you going to have to change your y values to then? Right, in between negative 20 and 20, or a little bit above or below. All right, so how do I find these 1, 2, 3, 4 answers? We've done this before. Second trace.
But
And I want to know where they intersect, which is option number 5. Okay?
Oh, then you use
Second, and then hit the trace button, or second calc, or second F4, or whatever. Okay? This is a dumb question, but it's a calculator, so it's not very smart. So it's saying, is this the first curve that you want to find the intersection of? Yes, so you hit enter. Is this the second curve? Yes, so you hit enter. Now I want to guess where they cross. So I'm going to change it so that the little guy doing jumping jacks is over here, next to where they intersect the first time. And then hit enter. It doesn't have to be right on it, just has to be closer to this one than that one. And it tells me the answer is x equals 0.5235988. It's my favorite student. And this one specifically says round your answers to the nearest hundredth. So that's going to be x equals 0.52 is my first answer.
And y equals 0.5.
Okay? Y equals 0.5, but y will always equal 0.5. So we don't care about that. We only want the x values. Okay? If you didn't catch that, you got 3 more chances.
Wait, no.
If you didn't catch that, you got 3 more chances. Okay, ready?
I want to break my $100 calculator.
I got 0.5.
Lane, tell your story later. This is more important. Okay? You ready? No, I said later, not like 10 seconds later, like after class. Okay? So I'm going to go second calc again.
Why?
Okay?
Wait, are we done with this problem?
No, we got 3 more intersection points to find.
What?
Okay? 5 for intersection. Enter, enter.
Mine didn't.
And then now to get this other one, I need to move the cursor over so it's closer to where they cross there. I'll help you individually in a second. And then hit enter again.
2.6.
And it says 2.6 blah blah blah, but we want to the nearest hundredth, so that's going to be 2.62. Okay? I'll do the next 2 and then I'll come around and help you
Wait,
guys
so
while
we
you
just
finish
keep writing
your
x equals x equals?
Yep, x equals x equals x
Or can we
equals.
just put like a comma?
I would go with the comma.
Do we have to
Do the
hit
same thing,
second
just keep
count?
moving over.
Yep, second calc. 5. Enter, enter. Slide this guy over here. Okay, hit enter again, and that one is going to be at 3.67.
Nice.
And then my last one, second calc, 5, enter, enter. Slide over there to close to where they cross.
Mine went down for some reason.
5.7.
Mine
Hit
keeps going
enter
down.
again. I'll help you individually in a second, and you get 5.7.
That's all you do?
And that's all you do.
I see
Okay?
answers.
Yep, those are your answers. And so I feel like you are now perfectly capable of finishing this assignment on your own.
What's 42?
Okay? So I'll come around and answer your individual questions. I know we've got some calculator problems and things like that. Okay? So if you want to turn it into me at the end of the period so you don't have anything to work on over the weekend, you sure can. Otherwise, it's due on Monday.
Can you write down like